You have a slow drain, so you grab a bottle off the shelf and pour it down, thinking the problem is solved. But what if that bottle is quietly destroying your pipes from the inside out, turning a $5 clog into a $5,000 repair? After 3 decades of fixing drains for a living, I have seen the damage these products cause firsthand, and most of it was completely avoidable. Today, I am walking you through 7 drain cleaners you should never buy, plus 2 alternatives that actually work. And stick around, because number 6 on this list fools almost everyone. And the bonus tip at the end is something most plumbers will never tell you. The first drain cleaner you should never buy is Drano Max Gel. Now, I know what you are thinking. This is probably the most recognizable name in drain cleaning. It has been sitting under kitchen sinks for generations. But here is what the commercials never show you. Drano Max Gel uses a combination of sodium hypochlorite and sodium hydroxide, which is essentially bleach mixed with lye. When you pour it into a clogged drain, it generates heat. A lot of heat. And if that clog does not clear right away, all that caustic superheated liquid just sits inside your pipes. If you have an older home with cast iron or galvanized steel drains, that chemical reaction is eating away at the interior walls of your pipes every single time you use it. Even on newer PVC pipes, repeated use can weaken glue joints and soften the plastic over time. I have pulled out sections of pipe that looked like they had been chewed through from the inside, and every single time the homeowner said the same thing. They used Drano regularly because it seemed to work. It works until it does not. And by then you are looking at opening up walls and replacing entire drain lines. For a product that costs about $8 a bottle, the long-term price tag is staggering. The second drain cleaner you should never buy is Liquid-Plumr Full Clog Destroyer. Most people think of this as the gentler alternative to Drano. The marketing is softer, the bottle looks friendlier, and there is this general sense that it must be the safer choice. But when you read the back label, the active ingredients are almost identical. You are still dealing with sodium hydroxide and sodium hypochlorite in a thick gel formula. It generates the same kind of caustic heat, and it carries the same risks to your plumbing. What makes Liquid-Plumr particularly frustrating is the name itself, Full Clog Destroyer. That sets an expectation it rarely delivers on. A full clog means standing water, and pouring a chemical gel into standing water means that gel has to sink through the water, reach the clog, and somehow dissolve it while being diluted the entire way down. In practice, it often just creates a toxic soup sitting in your sink basin. And if you then try to plunge that drain, you risk splashing caustic chemicals onto your skin, your countertops, or your eyes. I have treated more chemical burns from drain cleaners splashback than I care to remember. If you have a bottle of this under your sink right now, do yourself a favor and dispose of it safely. Your pipes and your skin will thank you. The third drain cleaner you should never buy, and this one is serious, is any sulfuric acid-based drain opener. These are the products you sometimes find at hardware stores in thick plastic bottles with heavy warning labels. Some common names include Instant Power and Rudo Professional. They contain concentrated sulfuric acid, sometimes at 90% strength or higher. Let me put that in perspective. That concentration is strong enough to dissolve metal. When you pour it into a drain, it reacts violently with water. It generates extreme heat and produces toxic fumes that can burn your lungs if you breathe them in. I have personally seen a homeowner pour sulfuric acid into a kitchen drain that had a partial clog, and the reaction was so intense it melted through a PVC P-trap in under 2 minutes. The acid ate right through the plastic and dripped onto the cabinet floor below. In some states and municipalities, these products are restricted or outright banned for residential use. Professional plumbers who do use acid for specific commercial applications wear full face shields, chemical-resistant gloves, and work in ventilated spaces. This is not something that belongs under your kitchen sink. If someone at a hardware store recommends one of these, walk the other way. By the way, if this advice is helping, it's a small sample from my new book, 100 Old House Fixes that save you thousands. It shows old house fixes that can help you avoid expensive repair bills. To grab your copy, scan the QR code on screen or use the first link in the description. All right, let's continue. The fourth drain cleaner you should never buy is any crystal or granular lye product. These come in cans or jars, and they look almost like coarse salt. The active ingredient is sodium hydroxide in its raw, dry crystal form. The idea is you pour the crystals directly into the drain, add hot water, and the chemical reaction breaks down the clog. The problem is that reaction is violently exothermic, meaning it generates intense heat almost instantly. When those crystals hit standing water, they can bubble and splash back out of the drain opening, and what is splashing back at you is essentially liquid lye at well over 200 degrees Fahrenheit. I treated a homeowner once who had chemical burns across both forearms from exactly this scenario. Beyond the safety issue, these crystals are devastating to older plumbing. Cast iron drain pipes, which are common in homes built before the 1970s, are especially vulnerable. The lye eats into the iron and accelerates corrosion at the joints, which are already the weakest points in the system. Over months of repeated use, you develop pinhole leaks inside your walls that you cannot see until the water damage becomes obvious. The repair at that point involves cutting open walls, replacing pipe sections, and sometimes remediating mold. All because of a $9 can of drain cleaner. The fifth drain cleaner you should never buy is a drain cleaning bladder, sometimes called a water pressure bag or blow bag. Now, this one is not a chemical, but it is sold right alongside drain cleaners at most hardware stores, and it causes just as much damage. It is a rubber bladder that attaches to your garden hose. You insert it into the drain opening, turn on the water, and the bladder expands to seal the pipe. Then it releases a high-pressure burst of water to try to blast through the clog. Sounds clever, right? The problem is that older drain systems were never designed to handle that kind of sudden pressure. Glue joints on PVC pipes can pop apart. Slip joints on metal pipes can blow loose. And if you have any weak spots in your drain line, whether from corrosion, age, or tree root intrusion, that pressure burst will find them. I have been called out to homes where the homeowner used a drain bladder on a basement floor drain and ended up with water spraying out of a pipe joint inside the wall. What was a simple drain clog became a flooded basement and an emergency plumbing call. These devices might work on newer homes with solid, well-connected drain systems, but for anyone with a home older than 20 years, the risk is simply not worth it. The sixth drain cleaner you should never buy is an enzyme drain cleaner when you are trying to use it on an active clog. Now, I need to be very specific here because enzyme cleaners are not bad products. In fact, one of them shows up later in this video as something I actually recommend. The problem is how they are marketed and how people use them. The packaging on enzyme drain cleaners often shows a clogged sink with water draining away, implying this product will clear a blockage. It will not. Enzyme and bacterial drain treatments work by slowly digesting organic buildup over days and weeks. They are maintenance products. They are fantastic at preventing clogs from forming in the first place, but if you have standing water in your sink right now, pouring in an enzyme cleaner will do absolutely nothing for you today. What happens is people buy these, pour them into a fully clogged drain, wait the recommended time, and nothing changes. Then they get frustrated and reach for one of the chemical products I just warned you about. So the enzyme cleaner did not cause harm directly, but the false expectation it created led to a worse decision. Read the label carefully. If it says it is for maintenance or slow drains, believe it. Do not expect it to handle a full blockage. The seventh and final drain cleaner you should never buy is any foaming pipe snake chemical product. These have become very trendy in the last few years. The idea is that the foam expands to fill the entire diameter of the pipe, coating the walls, and reaching further than a regular gel or liquid. Some popular versions include foaming formulas from major brands that combine sodium hydroxide with a foaming surfactant. In theory, the expanded coverage sounds like an advantage. In practice, the foam is almost impossible to control. It expands unpredictably, and in homes with garbage disposals, the foam often backs up through the disposal and into the sink basin. If you have a double basin sink with a shared drain, the foam can come up through the other side. And because it is a foam, it clings to everything it touches, including rubber gaskets, dishwasher drain connections, and septic system components. The sodium hydroxide in the foam is just as corrosive as it is in gel form, but now it is coating surfaces that a gel would never reach. I have seen garbage disposal splash guards completely deteriorated from repeated use of foaming drain products. The rubber just breaks down. For the same price as one of these foaming products, you could buy a tool that will last you years and actually solve the problem without any chemical risk at all, which brings me to what actually works. The eighth item on our list, and the first of the two that actually work, is a simple manual drain snake or plastic zip-style drain tool. This is a solution I recommend more than anything else, and it costs almost nothing. A plastic zip tool is a thin, flexible strip of plastic with barbs along the edges. You slide it down into the drain, twist it gently, and pull it back out. It grabs hair, soap scum, and debris physically and removes it from the pipe. No chemicals, no heat, no risk to your plumbing. They cost about $3 at any hardware store, and they work on bathroom sinks and tub drains almost every single time. For kitchen drains or deeper clogs, a small hand-crank drain snake, sometimes called a drum auger, is the next step up. You can get a good one with a 25-foot cable for around $30. You feed the cable into the drain, crank the handle, and the tip of the snake either breaks through the clog or hooks onto it so you can pull it out. This is exactly what professional plumbers use on most residential drain calls, just in a larger motorized version. The physics are the same. You are physically removing the obstruction instead of trying to dissolve it with chemicals. It works on every type of pipe, old or new, and it will never damage your plumbing. If you own a home, a hand-crank drain snake should be in your toolkit right next to your plunger. It will pay for itself the first time you use it. The ninth and final item on our list, and the second method that actually works, is the wet-dry vacuum method combined with enzyme maintenance. This is my favorite approach because it handles both the immediate clog and the long-term prevention. If you already own a shop vacuum, you have a powerful drain clearing tool sitting in your garage. Set the vacuum to wet mode, create the tightest seal you can over the drain opening, and turn it on full power. The suction can pull out clogs that even a plunger cannot budge. Hair clumps, food buildup, soap deposits. It pulls them right out of the pipe and into the vacuum canister. I have used this method on bathroom drains that had years of buildup, and the results were immediate. No chemicals, no disassembly, just raw suction. Now, once your drain is flowing freely, that is where enzyme maintenance comes in. Pick up a quality enzyme drain treatment, something like BioClean or Invade BioDrain. Once a month, pour the recommended dose into each drain in your home before bed. While you sleep, the enzymes and beneficial bacteria go to work slowly digesting the organic film that builds up inside pipes. Over time, this keeps your drains running clean and prevents the slow buildup that leads to full clogs in the first place. It is safe for every type of pipe, safe for septic systems, and completely non-toxic. The combination of mechanical clearing when you need it and biological maintenance month to month is exactly what professional plumbers do in their own homes. No bottles of caustic chemicals required. And now for the bonus tip that professional plumbers swear by. Before you ever reach for any tool or product, try this first. Boil a full kettle or pot of water and pour it slowly down the drain in 2 or 3 stages, waiting a few seconds between each pour. For kitchen sinks especially, the majority of slow drains are caused by grease and soap that has solidified inside the P-trap. The boiling water melts and loosens that buildup, and gravity does the rest. This works best as a weekly habit rather than a last resort. Every Sunday night, boil a pot and pour it down your kitchen drain. It takes 60 seconds and prevents most of the clogs that send people rushing to the store for chemical drain cleaners in the first place. I have been doing this in my own home for years, and I cannot remember the last time I had a slow kitchen drain. The simplest solutions really are the best ones, and this one costs you nothing. Before you go, I want you to know about my new book, 100 Old House Fixes That Save You Thousands. It shows practical fixes for older homes so you can stop guessing and avoid expensive repair bills. Just scan the QR code on screen or click the link in the description to get your copy. Thanks for watching.